Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU audiobooks. Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Continuing Education, Certificate Programs, Certificate in Food and Nutrition, CFN, CFN to your food and its utilization, Block 3 Nutrition of the Mother and Child, Unit-9 Nutrition through the Life Cycle Infancy. Infancy is a critical period of development which lays the foundation for future growth of a child. In this unit, you will learn about the importance of breastfeeding, complementary foods, and their role in the development of an infant. 9.0 Objectives. After studying this unit, you will be able to times describe the normal growth pattern of infants, times identify the nutritional requirements of infants, times list the advantages of breastfeeding, and times list the foods you need to give in addition to breastfeeding. 9.1 Introduction. Infancy is a period of rapid growth. From the safe protected environment in the mother's womb, where it was nourished, the baby now comes into an environment which places a lot of stress on it. The baby has to make an effort to get the food it needs and has to cope with infections. Breastfeeding is unique and vital because it nourishes the baby and protects it from many infectious diseases. As the baby grows, mother's milk alone is not sufficient, and one will need to give the baby other foods. Sometimes, if breastfeeding is not possible, one has to use a substitute for it. In this unit, we will study about the growth of babies in their first year, i.e., infancy, their nutritional needs, and what they should be fed in this period. It helps to be constantly aware that the baby is helpless and needs constant attention and care. 9.2 Birth weight, normal growth and development. In the previous unit, you have learned how vital it is for a mother to consume an adequate, well-balanced diet during pregnancy. You know that if a mother is malnourished, her baby may be born with a low birth weight. The birth weight of an infant is important because it determines its ability to face life, to grow and develop normally. Birth weight. Under optimal conditions, you will see that the normal birth weight of infants is 2.5 kilograms and the length will be about 50 centimeters. If the birth weight of a baby is less than the weight mentioned above, such an infant is said to have low birth weight. There are two main reasons for low birth weight: A. Premature or early delivery, and B. When growth of the baby in the womb has been less than is expected or desirable. Low birth weight infants may be small and wrinkled at birth. They may have some immediate difficulties, for example with breathing, in adapting to life outside the womb. However, if you provide optimal conditions after birth, low birth weight infants can gain in weight and catch up with other infants. Normal growth and development of infants, all-round growth and development of a baby is very rapid during the first year of life. You can see this from the weights at different ages for girls and boys in Table 9.1. Growth of the baby can be measured by using a growth chart as already explained in Unit 5. In these charts, weight is plotted against the age. These growth charts help to identify growth failure at an early age so that corrective measures can be taken to prevent malnutrition. Table 9.1. Weights of infants at different months in the first year. Look at the screen for table content. You are listening to this audiobook on Audio Learn IGNOU. 9.3 Nutritional requirements of an infant. The first year of life is a period of rapid growth and forms the foundation of future health of the child. The energy needs during infancy are high and the Infant's energy requirement per kg body are weight more than double that of an adult's energy requirements per kg body weight. However, you may wonder how we arrived at this relationship. The RDA table gives the energy requirement of a sedentary man as 2110 kcal. So, if we express energy requirement per kg body weight, we would get a figure of 32.46 kcal kg. Body weight, i.e., if the reference weight is 65 kilograms, then 65 x 32.46 is equal to 2109 kcal, approximately. Now, if you compare this figure with that for an infant, you would notice that the infant's requirements per kg body weight are much higher. This means that the total figure would be higher in the case of the adult, but the per kg body weight figure would be lower. The need for proteins, vitamins, and minerals per kg body weight in also several times more in the case of the infant as compared to the adult. This would be more evident if you look at figure 9.1. Look at the screen for table content. Figure 9.1 Nutrient needs of an infant compared to those of an adult man. Most babies in our country are breastfed. Breast milk alone is the sole source of nourishment for infants up to 6 months of age. In Unit-2 you were acquainted with the needs of infants, since the mother has to nourish her infant. It is very important that a nursing mother should eat an adequate amount of food. If you do not feed the mother well, how would you have a beautiful and healthy baby? Let us discuss, therefore, what the diet of a nursing mother should be and then discuss about feeding of the infant. 9.4 Nutrition for nursing mothers. If the mother has to successfully breastfeed and nourish her baby, it is important that she herself consumes an adequate diet. Generally, mothers produce at least 600 to 800 milliliters of milk per day. In this milk are present all the nutrients that the baby needs. Thus, during the period of nursing or breastfeeding, you can see that a mother needs to consume more than her normal food intake. Refer to the energy, protein, and other nutrient requirement for lactating shown in Table 9.2. Table 9.2 Recommendations of Nutrients for Lactating Women, ICMR, 2020. Look at the screen for table content. How would you supply this extra food? You may be familiar with traditions of feeding special preparations to a nursing mother. Many communities give a nursing mother kheer or laddus, such as those made from methi, leafy vegetable, etc. All these foods provide energy, proteins, minerals, and vitamins that the mother needs. It is not always necessary to specially prepare such foods. You can meet the additional requirements of the mother by increasing some common food items in the normal diet, such as chapati, dal, etc., as shown in figure 9.3. Table 9.3 Additional foods for a nursing mother. Look at the screen for table content. 9.5 Breastfeeding. All babies thrive on mother's milk till 6 months of age, since it is nature's ideal way of nourishing the baby. In India, breastfeeding is customary, and hence most women need not be told to breastfeed their babies. However, you need to advise many women to feed their babies colostrum, which is the thick yellowish milk that is secreted in the first 3 to 4 days after delivery. Colostrum is a rich source of nutrients and also protects the infant against many diseases. In some communities, colostrum is discarded, which should be discouraged. Breast milk is the best choice of food for infants because breast milk is 1. Adequate to meet the nutritional needs of the infant. 2. Easily digested and the nutrients from it are more easily absorbed. 3. Rich in substances which protect the baby from many infectious diseases. 4. The milk supply automatically adjusts to the baby's needs. 5. It protects the infant against allergy during its most vulnerable period. 6. It is economical, convenient, and very clean. Here are some guidelines for management of breastfeeding for mothers. Times: put the baby to the breast within an hour of birth. Times: let the baby be fed on demand, i.e., whenever it wants. Times: encourage cleanliness. Times: encourage exclusive breastfeeding till 6 months of age. Do not use any prelactal feeds. Times: breastfeed as long as possible. Times: if the infant is too weak, expel milk from the breast and feed it with a cup, katori, or spoon. Times: calm and quiet atmosphere favors maximal milk secretion. Times: continue breastfeeding during episodes of diarrhea. Times: use oral rehydration solution to prevent and correct dehydration. Times: raw and cooked fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and adequate amount of water should be included to avoid constipation. Times: no food should be withheld from the mother unless it causes distress to the infants. Times: the dietary intake of caffeine, artificial sweeteners, and alcohol must be totally avoided. 9.6 Breast milk substitutes. Sometimes it is not possible to provide breast milk to an infant, as for example, when the mother has some illness. In such cases, you have to substitute the breast milk with other milk and have to copy nature as closely as possible. Usually you feed cows or buffalo's milk as a substitute. However, cows and buffalo's milk differ from human milk and have no anti-infective properties. Usually milk is diluted with water to make it easily digestible. However, this decreases the amount of energy available from the milk, consequently you must add sugar to ensure that the baby will get enough energy. In Table 9.3, you will see the amount of water and sugar that you need to add to make a feed for babies of different ages. Whenever you use cow's or buffalo's milk, boil it first to kill all harmful bacteria. Dilute the milk with boiled and cooled water when necessary. Table 9.3 Preparation of feed for infants using cow's or buffalo's milk. Look at the screen for table content. Cleanliness is extremely essential while preparing the milk. The following precautions should help to ensure protection of the infant from infection. Times: if any milk is left over in the bottle after a feed, do not leave it as it is. Use it in some family food preparation. Times: wash all bottles, nipples, spoons, cups, etc. with soap and water. Times: sterilize all the bottles, nipples, etc. by immersing them in boiling water for 10 minutes. Times: boil milk after dilution. You are listening to this audiobook on Audio Learn IGNOU. 9.7 Complementary foods. The term complementary foods refers to those foods which are fed to the infant in addition to breast milk, providing sufficient nutrients. When would you begin complementary foods feeding? You already know that breast milk alone is quite sufficient until the baby is 6 months old. Generally, the first solid foods are introduced around the 6th month, and this occasion may be celebrated in your home. Anprasna. When and how do we introduce complementary foods? It is important that the introduction of complementary be an enjoyable period of transition. When you first offer an infant food, you may find that he spits it out. This is because the baby develops the ability to swallow very slowly. The child should not be Forced to eat. You will find that the baby accepts the food better if it is not distracted. You can follow the guidelines given below for introducing complementary foods. Guidelines for introducing complementary foods. 1. Complementary foods should be introduced at 6 months with small amounts of the foods which are increased slowly with frequent breastfeeding. 2. When you start a new food, give only 1 teaspoon or 2 at a time, possibly after the breastfeed. If the infant does not take it, try again when he is hungry. 3. Wait a few days so that the baby is used to one food before you introduce another. 4. Once the baby accepts a new food, give it quite frequently so that it becomes familiar. 5. Practice responsive feeding. Feed slowly and patiently and do not force feed the infant. 7. Minimize distractions during meals. 8. Experiment with different food combinations, tastes, and textures to meet the nutritional needs. 9. Observe hygiene during preparation and feeding of infant. 10. Caregivers and child's hands should be washed before food preparation and serving. 11. Use clean utensils to prepare and serve food. 12. Store food safely and serve food immediately after preparation. 13. Avoid use of feeding bottles which are difficult to clean and sterilize. Kinds of foods given. Normally cereals are the first foods to be fed. You can give cereals prepared for the family meals such as rice, chapati or fulka, or bread soaked in milk. Rice can be mixed with dal or curds or milk and mashed. By the 7th or 8th month, the child should be taking about 4 to 5 teaspoons of the foods. Soft cooked dal or steamed pulse preparations can be given by 7 to 8 months of age. You may be preparing dishes like khichdi, pongal, idli, dhoklas, etc. in your home. These can be fed to the older infant. Fruits like banana, mango, papaya can be started at 6 months. Cooked apple, after removing the fibrous parts, can be given. By the time the baby is 6 to 8 months, you can begin giving it vegetables also. Initially, you need to mash the cooked vegetable and, if necessary, strain it. By the end of the first year, you can change the consistency to coarsely mashed and then chopped vegetables. Vegetables and fruits supply the baby with minerals and vitamins, and also make it get used to different textures and flavors. Egg yolk, cooked, can also be given. Egg white, however, should be given only by the end of the first year, since some babies are allergic to it. Fish and meat can be cooked and mashed. Ground meat can also be given if tolerated. You can feed the baby alternately with fish meat or egg yolk or dal. Increase the frequency of complementary food as the child grows older. An average healthy breastfeed infant should be given complementary food 2 to 3 times a day at 6 to 8 months, 3 to 4 times a day at 9 to 11 and 12 to 24 months of age, with additional nutritious snacks. Here is an example of what you can give to a 9-month-old baby. Morning. Cereal or boiled and mashed egg yolk with milk, e.g. dalia porridge, chapati bread dipped in milk. Mid-morning. Mashed fruit or fruit juice. Afternoon, khichdi rice and dal, mashed dahi, mashed vegetables. Seasonal, milk. Tea, toast biscuit, milk. Late. Evening. Chapati, soaked in dal, mashed fruit, seasonal. Night, milk. Locally available food materials can be used for preparing low-cost complementary foods. Commonly used foods such as cereals, wheat, rice, ragi, jawar, bajra, etc., pulses, grams, dhals, nuts and all seeds. Groundnut oil, sugar or jaggery, and seasonal fruits and vegetables should be used as they are cheap and available in plenty. Precautions in infant feeding. Given here are some precautions which, when followed, will help the infants maintain good health. 1. The leftover milk in the bottle should not be fed to the baby at the next feed. 2. Frequent small feeds are to be encouraged. 3. Avoid seasoned foods and strong flavored foods as supplements. 4. Keep all utensils clean and sterile. 5. Keep hands and fingers and fingernails clean. 6. Discourage use of commercial baby foods which are expensive. Check your progress. Exercise 1. 1. What are complementary foods? Plan the type of foods you can give to a 1-year-old infant. 2. What advice will you give to a mother-to-be about feeding her infant in the first 6 months? 9.8 Let us sum up. Infancy is one of the most rapid periods of growth in life. Human milk is ideally suited to the needs of the human infant. It is important to feed colostrum to the infant in order that a mother can nurse her baby successfully. She should consume 1.5 times in amount her normal diet. After 6 months of age, milk alone is not sufficient for the baby's needs. Other foods, i.e., solids, should be introduced into the infant's diet at this age. By 1 year, the child should be able to eat most of the foods that are eaten by adults. When it is not possible to feed a baby with mother's milk, cow's or buffalo's milk can be used after suitable modification, observing principles of hygiene. 9.9 Glossary. Colostrum, a yellowish sticky fluid secreted in the first few days after delivery. A concentrated source of proteins and disease resistance factors. Low birth weight below 2,500 grams. Premature infants. Infants born before completion of 37 weeks of pregnancy. Complementary food. Foods which are fed to infants in addition to breast milk. 9.10 Answers to check your progress. Exercises. Check your progress. Exercise 1. 1. Complementary foods refer to those foods which are fed to the infant in addition to breast milk, providing sufficient nutrients. The infant is introduced to semi-solid and solid foods so that it slowly becomes accustomed to an adult diet. Diet for a 1-year-old infant. Morning. 1. Cereal, e.g. dalia, porridge, bread with milk. 2. Boiled egg. 3. Milk to drink. Mid-morning, fruit juice. Afternoon, vegetable khichdi and some butter curd. Tea, biscuit, toast, burfi, milk. Late evening, vegetable soup, khichdi or roti mashed with dal. Mashed potato or banana. Night, milk. 2. Advice on feeding an infant in the first 6 months. Times colostrum should be fed to the child after birth. Times initially the baby should be fed on demand. Times until the baby is 4 to 5 months old, only boiled and cooled water may be given in addition to breast milk. Times if breast milk is not sufficient, substitute milk should be given taking the necessary precautions. Times cleanliness should be maintained at all times. Times infant should be fed in a quiet atmosphere. Thank you. We will see you in the next video.